Velkommen, veldig hyggelig å være her. Palestinapodden er en podcast av Palestinakomiteen i Norge. Vi er på Spotify, Apple Podcast og YouTube og Podimo av en eller annen rar grunn. Så der kan dere gå inn og høre tidligere episoder. Har blant annet episoder med Magdi, Mats Gilbert, Francesca Albanese hadde vi nå for litt siden. Det var et veldig, veldig lærerikt øyeblikk. Så der kan dere sjekke ut. Og så vil jeg si tusen takk for invitasjonen til Mats og Kim og gjengen. Jeg mangler en makker i dag, men vi skal klare oss for det. Jeg skal snakke med Yonatan. Yonatan er tidligere pilot. Han jobber i Jødiske Stemmer for Fred, kjent for mange som en god appellant. Og vi har også spilt inn en episode med han tidligere, så dere kan gå og høre den hvis dere vil det senere. Det blir samtale og sang. Vi kommer til å være innom jiddisch, hebraisk, arabisk og engelsk, og fra nå av kommer jeg til å snakke på engelsk. Welcome, Yonatan Shapira.
Thank you.
Yonatan, are you comfortable? Yeah. Are you sitting okay?
I'm actually too comfortable in this nice seat.
And you have this soothing voice as well, so we're just gonna...
Someone just gave us this Palestine energy drink, and I never drank energy drink before, but I saw Palestine. So out of solidarity, I drank for the first time energy drink, so you might see a different side of me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with us, Yonatan.
Thank you.
We'll just jump right to it. Tell us a bit about your upbringing, your realization about Zionism and Israel, and what you do now.
Okay. I will try to be short on that, because I can sit here for 7 hours and just talk about this process of transformation. And also, some part of me feel kind of that during a full-blown genocide, I don't want to concentrate too much on, my psychological process, but it was a psychological, social, emotional process that at the end of it, I kind of came out against the system that brought me up. I was born in Bir Saba, Be'er Sheva, in the south, and was kind of directed towards a very mainstream Zionist life with a very militaristic background. My father was a fighter pilot, and it was clear for me that I have to do the same, and I was dreaming to fly like the birds and protect my country and all these cliches. And then I became a helicopter pilot. I was a rescue helicopter pilot, which is maybe the best thing that happened to me in the world, because had I been a fighter pilot that dropped bombs, I think there would not be a guy sitting here talking to you about Palestine, right of return activism. I would be in a hospital, or I would do something extreme that would lead to my death. So luckily, I was like an ambulance driver, but at some point during the second Intifada, 2001-2, I realized that I'm fighting for the wrong side. And that's a tough thing to realize. I still cared a lot about my family, my people, everyone, but there was one specific bombardment that the Air Force did in Gaza in July 2002. The house of hadde, the leader of the military branch of Hamas, was bombed in the middle of the night. Together with him, 14-15 people were killed, mostly children and some babies even in the womb. And the collateral damage, of course, was huge, of 150 people with severely injured. So many houses were totally demolished. All these things are like little peanuts compared to what's going on now. But for me, that was the wake-up call. In some way, I think I used to describe it that one of the children that died in this attack was the previous Zionist boy that I used to be. And it wasn't an easy process after that, but at some point I realized I was a music student at that point, flying as a reserve officer once a week or so, having very nice and good life in Tel Aviv, but then realizing that I have to do something and not just find solutions for myself. And in short, what I did is to reach out to other people in the Air Force and convince a group of almost 30 Air Force pilots to join a letter, a declaration, and we all published the declaration and put it on the desk of the commanders and went to all the big mainstream medias, both inside the country and outside, and declared that we are no longer going to be part of these war crimes. And that set me on a totally different life than I thought I will have. And then I was invited to speak in many places. The Zionist left back then was very much still in favor of me, because I was still kind of giving them a nice way to relate to, human rights and liberal Zionism. So they sent me to many places to speak. Universities, synagogues, churches, mosques. I was in like hundreds of venues in the States, in Europe, and inside the country, but mostly outside. And then the interesting thing is that I learned most things I learned about history, about life, about humanity, was thanks to the meetings that I had with people that came to listen to me. Which is something that we need to remember. Sometimes we come to speak somewhere or we come to teach someone something, but actually maybe we have more to learn from them. And I met many Palestinian refugees. Sometimes they were refugees that were actually the people that were expelled from Palestine in 48 or 67. But some of them were like you, and maybe more people like you, and in this room, some of you, that told me many things about life and about history and about my own history that I just didn't know. And that set me on a totally different even life course than the group of activists I started with. And because then, I even went even more and more and more away from the mainstream, from the Zionist left. And at some point, I said goodbye to Zionism and became an anti-Zionist and connected to groups that are working to promote the hadde, the right of return. There are different organizations also, like inside 48, Israeli groups that are promoting the right of return and teaching that and taking people to tours inside Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and show them, the old places that were demolished and the ruins of villages that are actually all around. Wherever you go, you find the remnants of the Nakba. Maybe it's a good transition to the first part.
Absolutely. I just want to ask you one thing. You talk about the right to return. What is your stance on the Palestinians that had to flee since 1948 and their right to return and the potential consequences it has for you and your family as well?
So first of all, as I said, I'm promoting the right of return. Everything I do since starting to be an activist and realizing what's going on, I was promoting the full right of return. If we connect it to what's going on now, a full-blown genocide and ethnic cleansing, I have to say that the Zionist infrastructure system, whatever we want to call it, has to be taken down, dismantled, and something else has to be built that is not with this super dangerous fascist messianic fundamental elements that are dangerous not just for the region but for everything. I'm for the full right of return, and the questions of how and exactly what will be. There is lots of theories and lots of lectures about that, and friends of mine are doing many PhDs and courses about that, and we can talk a lot about how in the future. But right now it feels almost meaningless to talk about some future solution when as we speak people are being ethnically cleansed. So right now I rather concentrate on the presence of how we reinforce each other and resist this ethnic cleansing, and we will deal with what will happen and what exactly the elements and stuff in the future. But if you would ask me 2 years ago, I would say yeah, of course, one state and stuff like that, and equal rights for all, but there are so many criminals walking free in the street. First of all, we need to apply justice, international law, and later we'll talk about some future of existing there.
Agreed. And while you prepare your song, The Right to Return, I would like to add on that now in the diaspora it's 6.1 million Palestinians, and 70% of the people in Gaza are actually refugees. They're not from Gaza, they're from different places in Palestine. And with that,
yeah,
I give it to you.
Thank you. So, since we are a small and nice group, sometimes when I talk or when I sing in different places, not here, the first thing I have instinctively, like looking at the audience, I'm looking for who is against me, who is going to shout in the middle. I had so many situations where people in the middle of me singing, even standing up and shouting, or me answering quietly. I talk like that, and I talk about my beliefs, and it just evokes so much anger sometimes. So my instinct is to look and say, okay, is someone going to try to harm me or something? But I feel quite safe here in Sandefjord. And again, thanks so much, Mats and Kim and Nader and everyone that helped organize it and came here. So it's a short one that is basically, it's like a prayer. I'm not a religious person, but I think in dark times we need to, while we are protesting, while we are resisting, while we are doing everything that has to be done now, it's good to also go back to the goals and remind ourselves, why are we here? Why are we doing all this? And as you said, this is all about the future possibility for everyone to return to their homes. And I usually just take few names of the many hundreds of Palestinian towns and villages that were destroyed. And if you want, just feel free to join me. It's a very simple melody, and it's going like that. I can hear the humming. Home, home, they are coming. Home, home, they are coming. And then we'll go to the names of some villages. And just feel free to sing, do vocals, or just hum. Can you hear the humming? Home, home, they're coming. They'll return to Jaffa. They'll return to Haifa. They'll return to Manshiach, to Ijlil el-Kibliyeh. Try. They'll return to Jaffa. They'll return to Haifa. They'll return to Manshiach, to Ijlil el-Kibliyeh. They'll return to Tantura. They'll return to Mansura. They'll return to Bir Saba. They'll return to Bir Saba. They'll return to Majda. They'll return to Lifta. They'll return to Manshiach, to Ijlil el-Kibliyeh. Can you hear their humming? Home, home, they're coming. Home, home, they're coming. Home, home, they're coming.
Thank you, Yonatan. I bet it feels like a double tragedy when you have that realization about Israel and Zionism, but you also have the memories and the stories about the Holocaust as well. What are your thoughts on the images and stories we see and hear from the West Bank and Gaza when you reflect on what happened to your people?
Yeah, this is a big part of everything that goes through my mind and my heart all those last 20-something years, but especially now. My name Yonatan is actually after my great-grandmother Jente. It's like Norwegian Jente is a girl, but in Yiddish, Polish, where she lived not far from Warsaw, that was her name. And she was killed in Treblinka. It's one of the concentration camps next to about an hour, I think, from Warsaw. She was killed in one of these big mass graves where the people were just standing and then shot, and some of them buried alive. And, you know, they always told us that it happened because the world was silent, and that's why I can be silent now. It's not very complicated once you leave the sect, in a way, all the brainwashed ideology that you got as a child, and you're able to just think freely. It's very simple. Just like I am totally against what happened to her and to many of my family that were killed, I'm against to the same kind of stuff that happened in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Lebanon. Israel is just running free with full impunity, without any constraints, and no one seemed to going to stop it anytime soon. And although here in Norway we feel empowered because we have strong Palestina Committee, we have the podcast, and we have so much solidarity, and we have Mats and all of you, but overall the world is silent. They let it happen. Who would imagine a year and a half ago that we will still be in the same thing, and it will just escalate, that in one night you can kill hundreds of children just like that? I think what changed is just the machinery. We have the big fighter jets that the pilots can sit in a air-conditioned cockpit with all these computers and stuff and shoot a missile that burn hundreds of people in just one push of a button. Or in the case of the drones that are constantly flying above, and whenever a commander somewhere in the middle of some base in Tel Aviv or elsewhere decide, they can just pull a button. And so back then it was, maybe like that, the guy that turns the gas in the gas chamber. And today is, it's just buttons and mechanism. Even more, if you think about it, this distance creates kind of an emotional barrier that enable people that could be a second later, super nice daddies to their child, but when they go to their military job, they are mass murderers. They are like completely insane when we think about it. So it's even more, in many ways. You don't have to smell the gas. You don't have to smell the burnt flesh. You're far away above. That's what I think. But to me, it was important, and I can connect it to the song I will do. To lay it, to talk about it, to put words to it, and not just to feel it. And when I started doing that already many years ago, when I refused and when I became an activist, and when I realized that some of these things, when I say them, people can come and hit me or can put me in jail or whatever. But then I realized, I can actually sing it, and you get a few more minutes of liberty to say something until people make the connection, and so you have this gap that can provide you sometimes some way into the heart of people that you are trying to affect. So in this case I took this song that in Yiddish it means it's burning, es brennt. It's quite Yiddish, and German and Norwegian is kind of sister languages. Yiddish is actually connected to Hebrew, English, Dutch, German. It's all this mixed together, and that's what most of the Jews in Eastern Europe used to speak, and some now, lots of mostly Orthodox communities. So I took that song that was written after one of the pogroms, just before the Second World War. And it became the non-official anthem, in a way, in the ghettos and in the concentration camps, because the song is like a cry to the world and to people who are standing by and embracing hands, while just a few meters from them people are being burnt, or their houses are being burnt and they are being killed. And it's a cry, brothers, please come help us put out the fire. Brother, please look, the flames are coming up, we are burning. So, and I used to sing and play this song in all these ceremonies, like because I played and sang as a child in all these national ceremonies. They would take me and I would read and sing and play these songs. So I decided, instead of just drop all of this, to take it and translate it to Arabic and show my solidarity, in this case, with people that are now suffering genocide and pogroms in the West Bank, in Gaza. And with the help of a Palestinian friend of mine, we translated it to Arabic. I'm a little too self-conscious to sing to you in Arabic now, but in the album that I released some 7 years ago, we have a big choir, and I start in Yiddish, and then we all switch to Arabic. So I'll just do a sample.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sbrennt, Brüderlach, sbrennt, wie unsere Umstädtel nebach brennt. Diese Winden mit ihr Gosen reißen, brechen und zerblosen, starker noch die wilde Flammen, als schon brennt. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich mit verlegter Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich, unser Städtel brennt. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich mit verlegter Hand. Und ihr steht und guckt so sich, unser Städtel brennt. In Arabic, and
I won't judge you.
yeah, forgive me for this pronunciation. حريك يا إخوان حريك، بلادنا حركت كلها، ودخانها الأسود يعلو، ويسودها لعب الخراب، آثارها لم تبقى إنها تحترق، وأنتم مكتوفو الأيدي دون أن تمدوا يد العون أن تطفئوا لهب النار التي بالبلاد. The choir will do next time.
Thank you, Yonatan. So I've been to Palestine once. We talked a bit on the way here. My family tried to move back to Palestine after the very successful Oslo Accords. Yeah. I was 11 years old, and I have two memories. One from walking in my family's valley, picking oregano from the mountaintops, and I also remember how difficult it was to come in. And that's the two things I remember, and I can only imagine how it is for you with everything you do through your speeches and activities and so on. Could you share with us how it is for you to travel back and be in Israel?
First, we have to recognize how much I am privileged over a Palestinian, even a Palestinian that live in Tonsberg. My skin color, my language, my family, my friends, lawyers, activists. So it's totally different thing if a Palestinian comes, and I have so many stories from friends that were disappeared for several days, even into some jail, and just because of some pressure, eventually we found where they are. But so far, other than different ways of harassing me and breaking my computer or strip searching me and making me feel not nice, and some arrests. So of course, I came with several, like 4 times I tried to enter Gaza with the ship to Gaza in different groups. So of course, when you arrive like that, you get tasered, you get all the package. But if I was a Palestinian fisherman, they would just shoot me in the head. So who knows? I don't know what will happen next time. In January, I was part of this initiative together with a Palestinian Polish group that were, I don't know if you heard, but there was the 80 years of the liberation of Auschwitz, and lots of leaders from all around the world came, I think even Norwegian leaders. The president or the prime minister of Poland gave Netanyahu an amnesty because he has an arrest warrant. But nevertheless, he sent his emissary, his obedient minister of education, to replace him. And the idea was that this is the right time to try to arrest this war criminal, because this guy was not only a minister, is still, as we speak, in the genocide government, but he actually was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, and he bombed in Lebanon and in Gaza as late as 2014. Then this group of Palestinian and Polish activists decided that this is the time to try to get him arrested. And there were 3 Palestinians, Polish citizens that were like the front of this initiative. One of them, a physician that lost 108 people in his family, including his mother, in the genocide, and another doctor also that lost 33 people from his family. And I went there to kind of testify and give the Jewish anti-Zionist former Israeli pilot support backing to that. For me, I was super sick that day, but I thought this is like the most important thing I can do now, try to arrest this guy. And we know that the chances that the political system and the court judiciary system in Poland that is very much going away from democracy and it's more and more authoritarian, the chances are very low, but symbolically it was very important for me, so I went there. And I know that now they are trying to put in jail for many years everyone that is trying to help International Criminal Court and this kind of arrest warrant. So I didn't try since, but I'll let you know what happens.
Thank you for sharing. And I think the next song is called Numunu. Is that right?
It's actually a word in Hebrew that is very similar to Arabic.
Okay.
Nammu. Nammu is go to sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
You tell your child.
Children. Yeah.
Nam. And in Hebrew it's Numu. So it's almost the same.
And it's also a Norwegian weapon manufacturer that...
When I wrote this song, it was before I even had any idea that one day I will have a Norwegian daughter and I will live here. I had no idea about Nammo, but it's connected.
Yeah.
We will talk about Nammo in the next song.
Yeah.
But this song I wrote actually a little bit before I refused and organized this group of pilots who refused their orders, and it was in a way for me to shout the loudest way I thought is possible. I had this music band and I used to perform, and so okay, let's let's do something a little more subversive. And it was written just after that bombardment in 2002 that I told you about in Gaza. That again, I was like ambulance pilot, but for me it felt that, it's almost like I was there because I'm part of this group that today I call a terrorist organization. So I took lots of Hebrew children's songs that I grew up on, and in every culture, lullabies and children's songs are the most, I think, beautiful thing. And these things are connected to people immediately. When you just make a little reference, it goes immediately back to their, core. So I took all these references and reorganized it to make them maybe think about the Palestinian kids that were killed. And the song has 3 verses. At first it starts just with the good night, and I sing to every names of child, that it could be names of children, but it could be names of pilots. And it's like Laila Tov, it's like Gunat. And then the chorus is just Numu Numu, go to sleep. The second part, I kind of take the words of this lullaby and make it that plane that comes with a 1-ton bomb to make the children sleep forever. And the children are looking up to the sky, and they see the planes, and they call them the angel of death are coming to take us. And the last part, I sing to a friend of mine that his name is Uri. We grew up together, and we were like good friends. But then I opened my eyes, and he did not, and he didn't help as many attempts I did, including telling him, they just shot me in the heart with this taser, I could have died. But I think the heart also closed down, and in the song it ends with me telling him that one day your daughter, her name is Maya, it's really his daughter name, will tell you, Father, look me in the eye and tell me, what did you do back then? And it ends with her scream, her shout, Father, when she realized that her father murdered other children. And I know that it's not very artistic to explain a song, but I'm going to sing it to you in Hebrew. And if you feel like you can join in the chorus, it's just that one word, Numu. But what I started to do lately, in the very last part of the song, if you change one letter from Numu to Kumu, it's also like Arabic, Kum, it's get up, wake up, rise up. It has many meanings, but it could be also like you want the child to wake up, or you want your friends or your people or your comrades to rise up and to rebel against this. So feel free to join me again. I get a little too emotional sometimes, so if it happens, I just stop and I breathe, and then I continue. So the chorus goes like that. No, no more, no more, try. No more, no more, no more, perfect. And then no more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. No more, no more. נו מה בן עצום עיניים, נו מי בת גם את. מי שלא נרדם עדיין, ירדה מיד, ירדה מיד. לילה טוב לתומר, לילה טוב אילן, לילה טוב לנתי, ולילה טוב לדן, לילה טוב לדן. נו 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 נו. אז רד אלינו אווירון עם פצצה של טון, ילדים קטנים ילכו עכשיו לישון, לישון שם למעלה בשמיים. טווסים יפה עיניים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, מלאכי המוות מגיעים. נו 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 ומה יהיה איתנו, אורי היקר? היינו חברים טובים עד שהלב שלך נסגר. ומה נגיד למאיה שתשאל בעוד שנים, אבא, דדי, what did you do? תסתכל לי בפנים. ובין שמש לירח, במרחק ינשוף צורח, בגופה הדם רותח, אבא רוצח. וואו Kumu, rise up, Kumu,
Thank you again, Yonatan. I want to ask you, you have experienced Zionism. You've met a lot of Palestinians, you have a lot of Palestinian friends, and you now live in Norway. What do you think is the most important thing to do here, in your opinion?
Yeah. I have to say that usually when I do like full concerts with many songs, and after this song but I have something positive to say, and then I'll answer the question that will lead us to the song. Few months ago, during the genocide, I suddenly had a call from someone that haven't been in touch with me for many years. It was a friend of mine that used to serve with me. One of those I used to call a failure, my failure to convince, because I managed to convince a bunch of people, but this good friend of mine, I failed. And we drifted apart, of course. And he called me because he said, I need your help. This is the case. My daughter, she is now turning 18. She just finished high school. And she told me that basically everything I was just telling you now. And she decided that she's going to refuse and go to jail. And in a way, for me, in a very little, tiny, optimistic pocket among all the darkness, something in that last part of the song came true. His daughter grew up, she met the right people, she was able to teach herself all this dark side that never been taught in the Israeli propaganda education system, and of course by her parents, confronted him, and now she's soon in some weeks going to jail, and she doesn't want to find an easy solution out. She wants to sit in jail and to front her parents and her father. So in a way, it's exactly what I want. I want those people that wake up to come and confront their friends, their fathers, their family members, their relatives, their neighbors. And just meeting with her and talking to her was one of the most precious moments for me in all these years of being an activist, because it's easy to explain it to you. You were not subjected to the same level of propaganda. You were subjected to some propaganda for sure here in Norway, but not to this level. And then to meet someone that came out from that and was able to confront her parents, her father, and then somehow make this and join this group. There is a group of young teenagers like that go to jail on purpose. I had to tell this story just to relax a little bit, and now I'll answer you about Norway, because
of course, and I just want to add on as well, like all the stages of emotions. If you guys also feel angry, if you want to sing, if you don't want to sing, if you want to cry, it's all allowed in this space. And for me and Yonatan, I think we've been through most of those phases already, so you have nothing but understanding and compassion from us wherever you are in the emotion of the conflict. Yeah.
So when I came here, I didn't want, in the beginning, the mother of my daughter kind of almost forced us to move here. Now I'm very, very thankful for that, because who knows what would have happened to me if I was there now. But slowly I started feeling that, okay, something that is kind of resembling something that I grew up with, which is this under the surface hidden truth that people don't want to talk about. And for me, it was when I found out that actually 41 minutes drive from the Nobel Peace Prize Center, downtown Oslo, Akerbyrge, to Chembring Nobel, the weapon factory that produces the chemicals and explosives that are going to some of the Hellfire missiles and different things that, through America, of course, make their way to the Israeli military and to the genocide. And when I found out that, it was just, I just couldn't just keep just protesting in solidarity with Palestine, with giving this, carte blanche to the mainstream Norwegian society. Like, if we really want to affect something, we have to hit it in the core. And it's the money and it's the weapon. Anyway, it led me to take and do something maybe not so nice. My daughter was quite upset about it. But then she gave me a permission to this one, not to the other one. Everyone knows Hvem kan segla foruten vind? Where's my harmonica? I'll just play a glimpse and then explain. So I love this song, and I learned these specific Norwegian songs and Swedish songs that are really nice to sing before she goes to sleep. Some of them I made some words in Hebrew or kind of made some mishmash in order to make it nicer and easier for me to sing to her. But then I thought, okay, this repetitive question, who is building, who can sail without wind, who can sail, without oars, and like all this beauty, I have to take it and do something with it. It was just almost like tickling in my fingers. And then when I sang it to Ella, to my daughter, at first she protested and cried and said, no, you cannot do that. This is a song that all Norwegians really, really like, and all children like to listen to their parents singing it before they go to sleep, so you can't do that. And then we went to a demonstration down in Oslo, and I told her, you know about what's going on, and you know that some of these fighter jets are actually partially being built here, and some of these bombs are being built here. And when she found out about it, she said, you know what, it's okay, you can do the song, you can sing it. So with Ella's permission, we'll do that. And again, you are welcome to join.
Thank you, Ella, if you're listening to this podcast.
She's teaching me Norwegian, actually. She's helping me. Where are we time-wise?
We're on time.
We are on time? Okay. Sometimes when I talk, my voice just goes up a bit and I need to adjust. Okay. So, who is building the fighter jets? Who is building the fighter jets? Who is building the rockets? Who is profiting from the wars? And what do you have in your pocket? Kongsberg is building the fighter jets. Nammo is building the rockets. Norway is profiting from the genocide, and some of it is in our pockets. So how can we say stop the genocide when we are providing the weapon? The red on your flag is the blood we shed. The blue cross is targets on children's head. The red on your flag is the blood of Gaza. The blue cross is targets on children's head. So tomorrow we meet at the factory's gate, with truth in our hearts and with hammers. The damage we may cause is far, far less than all of the slaughters and mass graves. The damage we may cause is far, far less than all of the slaughters and mass graves. Who is building the fighter jets? Who is building the rockets? Who is profiting from the genocide? And what do you have in your pocket? Kongsberg Gruppen is building the F-35. Nammo is building the M72. Norway is making billions of dollars from weapons going to the IDF, the Israeli genocide forces. And some of it is in our pockets. One last time. Who is building the fighter jets? Who is building the rockets? Who is profiting from the wars? And what do you have in your pocket?
Thank you again, Yonatan. Okay, we're on the last question of the evening. We talked about it, the double standards, the Nobel Peace Prize Center and the weapon factory.
Yeah.
Some of the most frustrating and that angers me the most is the double standards that has been exposed the last 17 months. For every Israeli child that was killed on the October the 7th, there were killed 33 Israeli childs too many. But for every Israeli child, it's over 500 Palestinian children. And that's a total amount of over 20,000 and probably a lot more under the rubbles. How does that affect you as a father?
Of course, and as you said, the numbers are probably way, way higher because if we include the people that just die from not having a hospital because Israel bombed all the hospitals, and hunger, we are talking about tens and tens and tens of thousands of children that are dead. And so many children that are roaming without parents because their parents are dead. Sometime I have to almost like, in order to not lose it. As a father, I want to seem as a stable, coherent, solid person, but inside me something is totally broken. This kind of faith in humanity is lost. But then I see her coming back from school, and this beauty and this naivety and this pure goodness brings me back to life and reminds me why we are struggling. And of course, now I have so many friends that are in Gaza, in the West Bank, many friends from Lebanon, families in Beirut and places. So it's almost like sometimes I want to bring everyone back from all the big questions of politics and history and stuff. Just, it became so simple. People tend to say, it's complicated. No, it's not complicated at all. It's the child that wants to see his mother and have something to eat. This is it. And if the person that we talk to, or the person that is leading us, or speaking on NRK or whatever, or in the Stuting, is not aware of that, or not doing whatever is possible to stop that suffering, then we have to confront them. Things became very, very simple. It was never so complicated. Settler colonialism, ethnic cleansing, all these things, all these words that we know. But now, a full-blown genocide and ethnic cleansing, it has to become back very, very simple. We want to save these children, these mothers, these fathers. And you know, sometimes we talk a lot about children because that's obvious, you know, they're obvious, innocent. But the Gaza men, people in your age, my age, 17, 18, they're innocent as well. And sometimes we forget. We always mention children and mothers and elderlies. Gaza is also you and me. So maybe in that thing I will withdraw back to where I was born, because it's connected to the last song. If we have time, if it's not. I was born in Be'er Saba, in Be'er Sheva, in the south, but I grew up not far from Tel Aviv, like in the suburbs, in a town that is called today Ramat HaSharon. But I found out that this hill with flowers and a little khirbe, a little broken house under a little mulberry tree, that I used to like to go there with my first love, even in high school and after, and we would sit there and listen to the far sound of the sea that is not so far from there, and read poetry, and it was just beautiful and naive place. And only later, some 10 years later, when I became an activist and started realizing that Nakba is everywhere, I found out what happened in that specific hill, and that those agricultural fields and this big center of shopping and cinemas and stuff, just 5 minutes from where I grew up, was actually a Palestinian village named Ijlil al-Kibliya. And today what sits on this village is a big shopping center, a big parking lot, and the headquarters of the Mossad. So when I was working on my album some years ago, I was thinking, what will I sing to a typical Hebrew-speaking audience who has no idea? And my thought was to sing a song about someone missing his home, missing his mother, and wanting to go back to the place where he grew up. And only at the very end, they will realize that I'm singing in the name of a Palestinian refugee that is missing his mother, missing his home, and wants to go back to lay in the bed where he could hear in the summer night the waves of the sea, the waves of the ocean. And I took the last line of the song, I took from a Hebrew prayer, L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim habnuya. Jews read it in Passover, and it's like next year in Jerusalem, the rebuilt. And then I just took that prayer and I said, next year to Jerusalem, in Jerusalem, and Ijlil al-Kibliya, that will be rebuilt. So I just added that village name, which of course turned upside down the whole prayer and made it something that today, as an anti-Zionist Jew, I can sing with a full heart. And before I'll sing it, I just say that something positive happened to me in the last year and a half is that I decided that struggling alone as these, former pilots struggling for Palestine is not good enough, and it's not safe, and it's not making the right message. So we started calling people and finding from here and there, and we find lots of other people with strong connections to their Jewish roots, some that have family there even, and share this anti-Zionist sentiment and will to join the Palestinian struggle for liberation. And today we have this Jiddiske Stemme, and it's a lesson for all of us to remember that whenever we struggle for something that we strongly believe in, never do it by ourselves. When I came here and I started being part of a lot of actions of Palestine Committee and everything, it's good, it's great, but I felt that I am like that token Jew speaking, and I felt that it has to represent, like in America, we have hundreds of thousands, and when they want, they just block the Golden Gate Bridge, they have masses of there. And I thought, okay, we are a small community here, but still, we need to be more, and we are growing. So, I don't know if you heard about it in Hanukkah, which is like, it was exactly in Christmas. We did like the lighting of the menorah, the Jewish menorah, in front of the house of Jonas Gerstora, and demanded that he will stop supplying the weapon to the genocide and investing in the occupation and apartheid and all these things that connected to the Israeli fascist system. So it's just an important thing that I think is important to message, to tell, because I meet many people that struggle against both the Zionist system and other systems around the world. And the difference between being in a mental house or dying alone and miserable with the system that crushes you, to be a functioning person in society is whether you struggle by yourself or you create groups and alliances. I just a week ago I met an Israeli guy who is already 70 years old. He refused to enlist to the military back in 73 because his mom was a Holocaust survivor from Auschwitz, his father was a survivor from the Stalin Siberia gulags, and they flee from persecution in Poland in the 50s after the Second World War. And he grew up understanding that he will never go to be part of any fascist system. So he refused, but he was only by himself. He was not connected to any group, and he told me what kind of tortures he went to. He was locked for months in a cubes, like a concrete cube of 1 meter by 1 meter. When they let him to go outside for 1 hour every day. So it just and he was not able to work ever since in his life. He managed to have family and he lives here in Norway with us, but it just made me realize how important is to be together, and especially in these dark times. So I'm very thankful for this, but I'm very, very super thankful that now I can say that I have a group of other anti-Zionist Jews that are speaking in demonstrations, that are active. Some of us are even members of the Palestine Committee and are very, very active. So, yeah. We'll do the last song?
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for singing with us, for crying with us, for most of all, for standing in solidarity with us. So thank you. I hope you have enjoyed the rest of the evening. Thank you so much.
I'm just going to do a sample of the song, but the chorus, as I said, it's just one word in Arabic, Ya'udu, they will return. It goes like that. Ooh, Ya'udu. It's almost like the beginning. Ooh, Ya'udu. Try that. Ooh, Ya'udu. Ooh, Ya'udu. נולדתי בשדות, בין גלילות להרצליה, בין פרגים וחרציות, כשהאביב הגיע, הייתי רק בן 12, שהכל נגמר, אני כבר בן 80, אבל עדיין מר לי מר, כל כך הרבה קרה מאז, טויח סויד, כל כך הרבה שנים חלפו אלי, עדיין יש אצלי מפתח חלוד ביד, לבית שהיה לי בין גלילות להרצליה, השמש שם שקעה מזמן, אבל הבוקר לא הפציע. יעודו 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 נולדתי בשדות בין גלילות להרצליה, מתחת עץ התות של אישליל אל קיבליה, גבעת האהבה שלי, עכשיו עם הצבע, לתום לחלומות, להרס ותקווה, שאוכל לשוב אליה, או לבוא לבקר, יא אמי אני לי בחבק, אוי כמה זה דוקר, ומתחת מדשאות מנשייה, נפשי עוד הומיה, לשנה הבא בירושלים, וישליל אל קיבליה הבנויה. יעודו 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 Thank you so much.